In our studios, it's my pleasure to invite these two young ladies themselves, and they are with Surrey RCMP, and this time Al Stroko. She is the supervisor of the diversity and indigenous people. She has moved from being the spokesperson to take on another huge department, and she will do wonderful in that. And we're going to be talking about what is her role there as an indigenous. And I have Vanessa Mann. She is the spokesperson for Surrey RCMP. She's in our studios, and we're going to be talking to her as well. So, welcome to both of you.
Thank you so much. Thanks for having us.
Thank you for coming in. So, you have moved from one department to another.
Yeah, so I did. I started in the Surrey RCMP Media Relations in March of 2018. And then just 4 years later, almost to the day, I went over to the Diversity and Indigenous Peoples Unit, which is actually just downstairs, so not a far move, although my desk was very dirty and messy with a lot of papers and all the fun stuff that I had received from the public over the last 4 years. So moving downstairs, and now, yeah, I'm in a really exciting unit. I still get to do a lot of community outreach, so I'm really excited about that.
So you've shifted all those things to Vanessa now. So
No, Vanessa, yeah.
They've taken over.
Yeah, so well, Vanessa and I worked together before I left media, Vanessa and I were together the last 8 months, so we had a chance to work together. And now Vanessa's the acting sergeant and NCO in charge of media relations for Surrey RCMP, so it's in excellent hands.
Yes.
And yeah.
Thank you. And both will be well taken care of. So, can you talk a little bit about what your role is and what your role as a diversity coordinator for Indigenous unit is?
Yeah, sure. So our unit, the Diversity and Indigenous Peoples Unit, has a mandate where we are responsible for doing internal and external education and maintaining relationships and with our community partners. So with both the Indigenous community here, Indigenous people, so not only those who are part of the traditional territory, which is the Semiahmoo, Katsi, and Kwantlen First Nations, but other people who are urban Indigenous living within what Surrey is today. And then in our diversity side, we do presentations internally to educate our members on the unique cultural and community concerns within Surrey, and then also helping to deliver important presentations externally to newcomers. For example, we speak to people in schools, and so just last week, for example, I gave a safety presentation to newcomers from Somalia, and I worked very closely with the translator who was speaking Somali, so I could give a presentation for them on what the role of police here is in Surrey, when and how to call the police, and then they had some questions for me. Recognizing that people come from countries where they maybe didn't have the same rights, right? Or that the police took bribes or were corrupt or were a body to be feared compared to what we have here in Canada. So helping people to really integrate more into their life here in Surrey.
And that is so true when you're saying that when people come from third world countries or any other countries, there's so much corruption happening, and when you say police are there to help you, they are the first person you get lost or something. They are the first person. They are uniform or in police car, can find nobody else is able to help you before you're getting in somebody else's car. Stop them, wave something, stop them and get the help from them. So it takes time, but people do have different experience back home and they bring the same mentality in here.
For sure, or like many people who've come here, if they're a refugee, for example, they may have escaped war, and they may have trauma, and seeing police and seeing the uniform may be something that's concerning for them, or they don't feel comfortable. So it gives us an opportunity to sit down face to face, and now that COVID has taken somewhat of a backseat, hopefully to stay. We can get together in person with the people, have conversations, and even through an interpreter, they're able to ask us questions and to build a new relationship in their new country, and to hopefully feel welcome and safe. Some of the things that we often hear from new community members is that a lot of times if they have children, their children's language skills advance faster than the parents.
Yeah.
And then maybe they want to discipline their child and like take their phone away, and the kid says like, oh, if you take my phone away, I'm going to call the police and they're going to take me away or arrest you. And that's really, if you were from another country and you didn't know, you might be afraid that the police are coming to take your kid away, or that maybe you'll be arrested for disciplining your kid. So we're able to talk to people and say, no, actually disciplining your child and having rules and boundaries are very healthy things to do for your family. And to talk about, how it works here, and that we're not going to be coming if you take your kid's cell phone away and arresting you, or taking your child and putting them in custody. So it's a really good program. Here in Surrey, it's actually been running for 18 years. So a lot of police forces don't have diversity units or Indigenous peoples units. But for us, it's been 18 years. We've had regular members as part of it for more than 6 years on the diversity side, doing presentations. And last year it was 198 presentations to more than 6,000 people. So we do a lot. I do presentations nearly every day. It's incredible to be able to be with people, and I have to say one of my most favorite parts of it is that I meet a lot of new women, and some of them are coming from countries where women didn't have rights.
Yes.
Not rights as we know them here, and so it's exciting, and I feel it's very special to let people know that they have rights here under the Charter of Rights and Freedoms, and that there are laws that protect people from abuse, and it's really, really important. And I actually, before I joined the unit, I had not as much of an idea as I do now about what kind of an impact we can make every day in the community. So it's pretty great. I'm excited.
Vanessa, I was going to also thank you. And Vanessa, I was going to ask you, because sometimes as women, because what we've been told, you come from a third world countries or any other countries, that women don't have a voice. They are just told, and if they don't have a job outside of the house and all that, are these people reaching out? Are these people open? In case there's a domestic violence, you go in there. Are they open to talk to you? Or they say, no, nothing happened, or no English, or something like that? Or are they more so, if you're reaching out, then they would say, okay, he hit me, this is not the first time. Or talk to the children, yes, this happens here all the time.
Well, you know what? It depends, and each individual, especially when it comes to domestic violence, not all people are ready to make that report right away, whether it be because they are fearful of what could happen. So you know what? We do investigate, and we do our best to provide them support. So even if they're not at a point where they're ready to be able to talk about it, maybe take the next step or leave that person and to get out of an abusive relationship, that we are starting to build that relationship and that trust within police and give them the support so that when they are ready to leave, they have the supports in place to be able to do so. And I know, like personally, I have gone and talked to advocates for newcomers through the legal society, where we've explained to them the process of domestic violence investigations, the process that Crown Counsel takes, that the ministry takes, to try to dispel any myths or rumors that are out there, that if you report this you're going to lose your children or anything like that. That is not the case. Ultimately, at the end of the day, we want everyone to be safe, and everyone deserves to live in a home that's free of violence. And so when they are ready to take that step, we are absolutely ready to assist them in any way that we can.
I was going to say that because some of the women that I have come across, I have to be very careful how I put it, that they are sponsored women. They are new women in the country, but they are sponsored by the spouse and all that. And the threat of, if you don't do exactly what I tell you to do, we're going to deport you. So I think there is something that may be coming. I know that we are not immigration here, but to say that if there is a domestic violence, nobody, unless you committed a crime, nobody can kick you out of the country, or you cannot be deported based on that if you go to the police.
I would say our primary goal in any of these circumstances is safety. And it can be really, really difficult, particularly the things that you brought up. If the person's not working and they don't have a job, so they might not have money or resources. they might not have language skills
Yes.
to easily navigate the community. And so, I mean, you can see how a relationship could become exploitive, because you could have someone, for example, holding over your head that, hey, I'm going to get you kicked out, or I'm holding onto your passport, or I'm the one with the visa papers, or so we actually, being aware of those things. And Vanessa, before coming to media, was working with domestic violence, and so the work done by both of our units in concert, helping newcomers understand their rights, and then hooking them up with resources that they need. So one of the other things that we do in the diversity unit is that we work with options, and we work with a lot of other settlement agencies. And I would really encourage anyone who knows of a newcomer who hasn't been hooked up with any newcomer programs yet, to help them get involved, or recommend or point them in the direction to get involved with those services, because they can meet people in their community of newcomers who can also help them navigate the different systems we have here. You can form your own personal support network. And then if there is someone vulnerable in the community, it's not only the police that can help, but friends and other agencies that can help people get through these difficult times. Because for some people, you can really wrap your head around, like, I'm the grandchild of immigrants, but I was born in Canada, I speak English. And so for me, these things are a kind of, you take it for granted that I can easily navigate the system. And I'm a police officer, so I'm in a very privileged position. But when I meet people who are new, they don't speak our French or English, maybe they don't speak a language that's even very common here. It can be very, very overwhelming to try to navigate our systems, particularly when maybe the person is a refugee and they never dreamed in their lifetime they would become Canadian, and then because of an unfortunate circumstance or war, maybe they had to come here. They're very welcome, and we want to make them feel welcome. But we also need to make sure that they have the assistance that they need, and they understand that there's things in Canada that are your right.
Yeah.
You have the right not to be abused, and you can drive, you can work where you want, you can move around and have freedom of movement and assembly and practice your religion. This is a terrific country, so I'm really happy to be part of this unit. At least we can help people understand what their rights are and the role of police in helping them be safe every day.
Thank you for saying all those things, because like I say, if somebody is thinking that I'll be deported, because we see that women can leave, but even if they have a child, the child is a Canadian born, and they're gonna, the father or somebody in the family gonna keep the child. And if you deport, you go, you never see the child. So sometimes the women end up living in a very difficult, this kind of situation when you don't know your rights. And I think it's important that we all need to be able to friend to them and be able to say, you have a right in this country. Sometimes we come from a very small city, from there to a big city or 2 million people in here, whatever. Then you are just thrown in an ocean, and then you are swimming around to find your own space in there. So it can be very
overwhelming.
Overwhelming.
And so the deportations and people having their visas revoked and stuff, this all goes through the Canada Border Service Agency, but there's a long process. And so unless the person has already been given several notices that they are overstaying or that their visa has been revoked, there's very little likelihood that someone's just going to snatch you up and kick you out. There's processes, appeals, there's lots. So don't let that fear of just suddenly being, sent away stop you from being safe. Right? Our priority as police, even CBSA wants to ensure the safety of Canadians, but is also looking, if a person is a refugee or a new Canadian and there's a safety issue, they're going to look at the whole picture. So don't let your fear that, could affect a landed immigrant status, a permanent residency application, or citizenship application, don't let it scare you into putting yourself or your children or anyone in your family into an unsafe situation.
There's a lot, and I think that is very important, that when you are saying that people are listening, that I do also have a right. You cannot do that. Unless people will be deported, it doesn't matter. I am a citizen, I got a citizen of the country. But if I commit a crime, and I have a criminal record, then I could be deported. So it doesn't matter whether you are a newcomer or you have been here for 30, 50 years, that Canadian government can do that if committed a crime, a serious crime,
The
a
vast
murder or
majority-
something.
Yeah, but
right?
the vast majority, Canada, the by and large, the vast majority of people, whether they're citizens or permanent residents or visitors on visas, are good people.
Yes.
And here, because they want to do good in Canada, and maybe they're here on a visa and they're doing something good overseas, sending money home. And we know this, and that's why there are so many appeals processes and hearings and things for people. And we know that people are here trying to live a better life. And if we want people to report things like domestic violence, and we're not looking to kick people out.
No.
We want to make sure that you're safe.
Yes. Once you are in the country, you are safe. Vanessa, you got 911 calls. You are the one that sent your team to go figure out or do assessment of the situation. Do you also find out before you go in the homes whether they speak English or what is their background or what languages? So do you take an interpreter, or who gets out of the house? Is it mostly the women, or they take the men out of the house so the women and children does have a stable housing?
So we act based on the information we're provided. So if we receive a 911 call from someone who speaks Punjabi, at that point in time a Punjabi-speaking translator will be put on the phone. And if we have a Punjabi-speaking police officer available to attend in the first instance, we will. Overall, we have to make an assessment on who the primary aggressor was, so who we believe is responsible for the abuse. And generally speaking, if a criminal offense did occur, that person will be arrested, and the rest of the family will be able to remain in the home if they feel safe doing so. We will put a safety plan in place for them. If they don't feel comfortable remaining in that home, we have additional supports in place. There are shelters, there are transition houses. We engage community support from places like Surrey Women's Centre, who offer counseling and can help set up other housing arrangements to ensure the safety of all people involved. So I can't generalize and say it's always the man or it's always the woman who has to leave the house, because it's very situational dependent.
Yeah. And how many different languages do you have? Because there are so many people here.
Oh gosh,
Punjabi,
okay. Yeah, well, we have lots.
Punjabi.
I think that we can offer services in up to 100 different languages. It may not be immediate though, that's the thing. It depends on when that person's working, because we do actually have quite rare languages even working in our detachment. But for some of our most common languages that we have, other than English and French, like Punjabi, Hindi, we also have people that speak Tagalog, Cantonese. So some of the more larger populations, I would say, of languages, we do have people almost on every shift.
Yeah.
It just depends on their availability.
And the very rare languages, you will try to find an interpreter.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it might take little time, but they can tell their side of the story through the interpreter.
So we always encourage people, so when we go give new Canadian and new resident things in my unit, when we give the presentations, if the people have very limited English, we recommend that people at least learn one sentence. I speak Punjabi, I speak English, I speak Cantonese, because then when they get on the phone, and if it is 911 or even non-emergency that they're calling, they can say, I speak Punjabi. And then we'll know right away, our operators will know right away to switch them over to someone that they can converse with.
Sorry, we got into this domestic violence and all that, but I think it's very, very important, because sometimes when you look at the police and they're saying, oh, they're going to take my husband away, take my kid away with Ministry of Families and Children and all that. The fear that is being put in this immigrant community that don't go to the police, might as well resolve whatever out of that and do it in the homes. But sometimes you are not there to resolve the issue. You are just there for make sure that this kind of crime doesn't happen, that make sure that everybody's safe, right?
Yeah, the reality is that people die as a result
Yeah.
of domestic violence.
Yep, and people and
so
women have died.
they have,
before, yeah.
and so it's not about judging people on how they live their lives. It's not about judging what was the start of their conflict. It's about trying to save people, children, men and women, from deadly violence. And so we have engaged with the community, and we have a dedicated domestic violence investigation team and vulnerable people's unit, and then our diversity unit, reaching out into the community, particularly into communities where if a person was in another country, their rights wouldn't be the same.
Yeah.
To make sure that people can live a life in Canada that is hopefully free of family violence, domestic violence, intimate partner violence, so that they can be happy and healthy here.
That's a very important message to the community, that we all are welcomed in here and you don't have to live in fear. This is a country of possibilities. Sky is the limit in the countries. I mean, yeah, we may have another language that we are so comfortable there. You have to learn at least a little bit of English or French. These are the two major languages. If you want to do any business, whatever, any form filling, talking to somebody, at least you have a little bit of that language, right?
Absolutely.
To be able to get yourself around and ask the right question and get help in that sense.
There's lots of services through sort of support services and settlement agencies here in Surrey in particular, that if you don't speak English or have very limited skills, that you can reach out to them and they can help you navigate our systems.
Diversity, there is one options, success, there are so many of them, right?
So many, and they're
Yeah.
excellent. Each of them there's so many here in
Unique.
our community, and each one of them is excellent.
What, do you want to add something to that, Vanessa? No?
No.
I think there's
I think Elle's covered it.
She's such
She's more familiar
expert.
with those, with those resources.
No, she's been here on this hot seat for many times.
She likes it.
I do. I love it. I love coming.
And a wealth of information, knowledge. It's a wonderful for the diversity team to be able to have you, because I
thank you.
also find both of you that you can reach out and be able to make that connection with the people.
Thank you.
And I think that trust is the first thing. Looking at that, can I trust this person? Can I not? Yes, you can trust, right? Or ask questions. If you
Thank
don't
you.
know, ask questions. So, anything else with your diversity, brand new diversity?
No,
People can invite you?
They can invite our unit to do presentations, and we do a wide assortment of presentations on your rights, on hate crimes. We do presentations on frauds and scams, on traffic safety. You name it, there's a presentation for it. So they can reach out to us by emailing us. Our email address is on the surrey.ca website. The email address is surrey_diversity@rcmp-grc.gc.ca. Reach out and we'd be happy to hook up a presentation.
That's a big mouthful of
It
that.
is, it is.
But anybody who wants it, they can phone any department, and maybe they will be directed in the right department, whoever be able to attend the forums will be able to educate our community. And now, like you said, things are starting to open up, and I think it's important to sometimes we think, oh, it's not happening. Everybody's there if you need help. Or get few people together and have some tea or something and just invite one of them to come to your school, not your school, but community center, seniors group, single mothers group, whatever that is.
Absolutely.
And get you this way you know your rights, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah, what you're being told and what is your right is important, that we all know it. Thank you to both of you for coming in
Thank you.
again.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah.
Buying or selling a house is a difficult process. Get Brent Prakash from Saba Realty Limited to find you your dream home, whether it's your first house, upgrading, or investment property. Always at your service with a fast, friendly, and honest opinion, Brent Prakash will guide you through the entire process. Get in touch with him today for a free, no-obligation consultation at 778-840-5866. I understand how important it is to have a place called home, and it's frustrating using your hard-earned money on rent. Vic Prasad can make you a homeowner. Get pre-approved services provided to first-time buyers and new immigrants. You can qualify for mortgage even if you have bad credit. Call Vic Prasad now on 604-306-6647. Vic Prasad is associated with Craft Mortgages Canada Incorporated. I understand how important it is to have a place called home, and it's frustrating using your hard-earned money on rent. Vic Prasad can make you a homeowner. Get pre-approved services provided to first-time buyers and new immigrants. You can qualify for mortgage even if you have bad credit. Call Vic Prasad now on 604-306-6647. Vic Prasad is associated with Craft Mortgages Canada Incorporated.
Community Outreach Pharmacy, providing in-home pharmacy services.
This includes our specialized diabetes and blood pressure monitoring program,
Free blister packing, free deliveries, and an in-home injection service throughout the whole Lower Mainland.
Call us at 604-777-5601 for more information.
For astrology service, life, horoscope, and fortune telling, marriage problem, love problem, divorce problem, money problem, personal or business, all types of puja and havan. Call Pandit Lakshminath Guruji 1604-849-4872, serving Alberta and BC.
Buying or selling a house is a difficult process. Get Brent Prakash from Saba Realty Limited to find you your dream home, whether it's your first house, upgrading, or investment property. Always at your service with a fast, friendly, and honest opinion, Brent Prakash will guide you through the entire process. Get in touch with him today for a free, no-obligation consultation at 778-840-5866. I understand how important it is to have a place called home, and it's frustrating using your hard-earned money on rent. Vic Prasad can make you a homeowner. Get pre-approved services provided to first-time buyers and new immigrants. You can qualify for mortgage even if you have bad credit. Call Vic Prasad now on 604-306-6647. Vic Prasad is associated with Craft Mortgages Canada Incorporated. I understand how important it is to have a place called home, and it's frustrating using your hard-earned money on rent. Vic Prasad can make you a homeowner. Get pre-approved services provided to first-time buyers and new immigrants. You can qualify for mortgage even if you have bad credit. Call Vic Prasad now on 604-306-6647. Vic Prasad is associated with Craft Mortgages Canada Incorporated.
Community Outreach Pharmacy, providing in-home pharmacy services.
This includes our specialized diabetes and blood pressure monitoring program,
Free blister packing, free deliveries, and an in-home injection service throughout the whole Lower Mainland.
Call us at 604-777-5601 for more information.
For astrology service, life, horoscope, and fortune telling, marriage problem, love problem, divorce problem, money problem, personal or business, all types of puja and havan. Call Pandit Lakshminath Guruji 1604-849-4872, serving Alberta and BC. For astrology service, life, horoscope, and fortune telling, marriage problem, love problem, divorce problem, money problem, personal or business, all types of puja and havan. Call Pandit Lakshminath Guruji